So picture this, one morning you just get up ready to really like energized and ready to go to work, and boom, you get the message. You don't have a job, you no longer have a job. And you are like completely lost. Sounds familiar? Don't panic. You are not the only one. There are so many, millions of people worldwide who find themselves in that situation where they just get up and abruptly they don't see it coming, and then it falls on you. And like they say, life is what happens when you are busy making plans. You are making plans that when you get up tomorrow morning, you're going to take a shower, you're going to take your coffee, and you're going to start going to work. And then you get up, there's an emergency, or there's some new information, there's breaking news, and it completely shatters your day. What do? Adapt. So you have to learn how to adapt. And learning how to adapt is not as easy as I am saying it, because sometimes you really like so taken aback that you don't really know where to start. So today we are going to be sharing stories of people who have really faced similar challenges, and they have emerged stronger. Because what if that day that you think that you've lost everything is actually the beginning of something more amazing? Because sometimes you think this is the end, but that's actually, like they say, nature telling you to pivot, because you have something more to offer than what you've been offering. Sometimes you stay in a job for like, there are people who've stayed in jobs for 20 years. I don't know how they do that. But at times, you need that push. It might not be really like the friendly push. You need a brutal push to be able to say, okay, let's go to the next level. And so this is why we are here today, to find a dose of inspiration and practical strategies on how to navigate these moments, because they are not pleasant most often. Because we really like, oh my God, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to manage? And sometimes you really completely lose it. I completely lost it when I was going through a second divorce. I am a journalist. My name is Mary. I'm from Cameroon. Cameroon is in Central Africa. I am a journalist, and I had a lot of success with my professional life, traveling from one country to another, covering world events, making big policy statements to solve world crises. But personally, things were not moving very well. So I was going through a second divorce. And for me, when that challenge came, I didn't know what to do. I started running. I started running away from everybody. Cameroon is a British and a French colony, so most of the people I know are in France or in in Britain. So I decided to go to some country where nobody knows me, and I went to Spain. I was running away. I went to Spain, and it costed me 8 years of just like I come from a very close knit family. I just told them I'm taking a sabbatical, and then I went. At the end of the year, like, but I have like older brothers and sisters who are thinking that I still have to tell them where I am going every day. What's happening is 1 year now, sabbatical is supposed to be 12 months, and I said, oh, don't worry, I'm still on sabbatical. So I stayed in Spain for 8 years, but those were very good years, because I was running away from stigma, from shame, because I come from a society where divorce is not really like one of the everyday things. And then you are divorced and you don't have children. So I did not have children. I come from where you have to be married to be valorized, you have to have children, and you have to have male children to keep the family name. So all of that, I didn't have them. And so I just thought of running away, but that was not the real thing. Because why? When life hits you, you have to take responsibility. So today we are going to do navigating career transitions, lessons from overcoming adversity. We all have adversity. Let's go to the next slide. I just want to say the main objective of today is to empower each other, to really like empower each other to support career transitions through shared experiences. Because all along, Pat was talking about collaboration team. we can't do it alone. You have to collaborate, but you also have to be intentional, because you're not going to collaborate with everybody. You're going to be selective. You're going to select the people that are going to help you to grow, the people with whom you are going to grow. And so the sub objectives is to really shift that perspective, like reframe transitions as opportunities for growth. Like I already said, what if that one moment is your moment of like, okay, wait a minute, what else can I do? Or this cannot be just the end of it. Because for me, I was a failure in marriage, but I'm a successful professional. So I can't just value myself because I failed in marriage. I have value in other things. And so we want to reframe, like mindset shift is the real thing. And then secondly, we want to see how to develop the skills and equip ourselves with the reset process, which for me, that's my process that I like coined out because of my own search to find myself and to really reinvent myself. And so, because when I was really like hurting, I went to YouTube to find answers. I really like mostly was listening to music. I will find the same music in English, Spanish, and French. I speak the three languages. And I will listen to the music in those three languages. And trust me, like they say, when you are hurting, you listen to the lyrics. But when you are happy, you just follow the rhythm and you're dancing. I was really listening to the lyrics and trying to get the lesson. And YouTube has a way of recommending videos depending on what you consume. So they started recommending motivational speaking. And one of those days when I stumbled on one of the videos, I heard this lady who said, "You are your own rescue." And I was like, okay, what does this mean? So I went to listen further. Because when I failed in marriage, I didn't want to go to the US because I was blaming my friends. How could you not tell me that this guy was there staying with another woman? He was in the US. I was working in Senegal, where journalists they work everywhere with traveling up and down. So I was like blaming everybody. Why didn't you tell me? You guys were there. You were not there for me and all of that. I was blaming everybody for my problems except taking my own responsibilities, because nobody is supposed to be babysitting for me. Nobody was supposed to be keeping my husband there or whatever, and nobody was supposed to be telling him what to do. And it's the same thing when we are challenged. Sometimes we say, oh, the government is, this system is, and we blame everything. It's true that all the systems and all the blames are, but sometimes when you are blaming on things that you don't have any control over, you are hurting more because you can't control them. So why don't you control, why don't you focus on the things that you can control, and that is you. And that is why taking responsibility is the very first thing that you can do when you want to reinvent yourself. You have to take responsibility of your life. You have to say, okay, if I don't do me, I will not be done. I am my own rescue. You just imagine those guys who are doing the marathon, they are doing the running. Even along the road, there are people who give them water to drink or cheer them up. They have to do the running. So you have to do your own running. You can have people along the way who are helping you, but you are the one who has to do the running. You have your own life. You have to do it yourself. How did I come about with the reset strategy? For me, I was like, most of the time, when you are thinking and taking responsibility, you don't know how powerful you are. You don't know how talented you are until when you want to sit and think and reflect and really take stock of your life. I always tell people, like, well, when you work in non-profits, you always talking about monitoring and evaluation. I always tell people, how about if we treated our lives like a project cycle? We have to constantly monitor and evaluate, because during those times we find times where we need to adjust, readjust, or remove some things or add some things. I was saying, sometimes when life is not adding up, you start subtracting. When things are not adding up, look at the things that you can subtract, and so on. So when I was thinking of my story and I said, Mary, you are such a successful professional, you have covered world events, you have really like sat on the same table, world leaders really like solving lots of policy issues. You can't just sit here and think that you are a failure just because you failed in marriage. You are not a failure, you are a work in progress, and there is always room for improvement. And yours truly, when I went to what I really benefited from Spain, I was working in a gender and equal opportunity consultancy with 6 different colleagues, and 4 of them were married, and they decided that they don't want to have children. They want to live child free. And for me, it was a real aha moment, because I was, for the first time, I saw people who were so comfortable, and it was their right to decide not to have children, and it was okay. And so, if for nothing else, what really helped me in Spain was to learn that, Mary, it is okay if you don't have children. It is also okay if you are not married. You bring value in the things that you do. You are not measured by all of those things that society tax on you. So find your value. And that's why I started with my 5 step reset process. And for me, reset is an acronym for resilience, education, strategy, experience, and training. Okay, now you have to save you. How are you going to start? And then I also remembered, like, I always hear that everyone is a resilient champion. You know, last week we were talking about being a resilient champion. I don't know, I should have asked the same question here: who thinks that they are a champion? Everyone is a resilient champion because we have track record of having overcome adversity. Every one of us, there's one time or there's one thing that happened to us, and we thought, oh my God, I can't. But the next day we continued. So no matter how you are challenged, flex those resilience muscles. And for me, resilience is flexing those muscles, digging deep, because they always say also that sometimes you don't know how powerful you are until when you are left on your own, and you just like, okay, now or never, and you say, okay, let me put the last energy. So the times that you are challenged, use that opportunity to flex those muscles, because you will be amazed at how powerful you are. And resilience is your capacity to bounce back. And you have to be like, it works in your mind. Because when you lose that job, or you are pivoting your life, you think this is the end, because yours truly, I can't do it. I can't again. That's why people go to the extremes of committing suicide. That's not the best way, because it's like cowardice, but we don't know anybody's situation. So flex those muscles. And when you start flexing your resilience muscles, you are reminding yourself that you have survived challenges before, and that you can survive now. And the resilience really increases as you recognize the magnitude of what you have to do. So if you are sitting there and thinking that, oh my God, I've lost my job, okay, let me just sleep there, then you will be sleeping there forever. But if you think that, okay, this cannot be the end, what else can I do? Then you will be here now doing this workshop, or you will be networking somewhere, or you will be looking for the information or the opportunities that are going to help you. So each time you are challenged, flex those muscles. You will find answers most often, because most of those answers are within. And you can, like, always maintain your positive outlook on life, because when you are like, the brain has a way of giving us what we are thinking. When you think that, okay, this is the end, how am I going to survive? Okay, let me just give up. Okay, your whole body responds, and you give up. Meanwhile, if you say, no, this cannot be the end, I have to get up, I have to go out, I have to find out, and all of that, the more you're going. So you have to really like flex those muscles. Imagine diamonds. I'm talking about diamonds because we have diamonds in Cameroon. They have all those. It's a big story about colonialism and all of them. But they extract the diamonds, and it's raw diamond like that, just like a stone. The more you beat the diamond, what happens? The more beautiful it becomes. So the more you are challenged, the more resilience muscles you wax, the more focused on your solutions you are. So think about the diamond. Think about even children when they are born. What happens as time goes on? They start trying to sit them, and then start trying to crawl. Gently, they start to hold things and stand. They might fall like how many times, but they don't give up until that day when they can stand and walk by themselves. And until the day that they discover that they can start running, and that's where they say the terrible twos, they start running everywhere. But that is resilience for you. The more you're flexing those muscles, the more success you're getting. And that's how I came about resilience being your first step to, because you have decided to take responsibility of your life, because only you can save you. So flex those muscles and find out what can I do, or how can I fine tune all of this. And so when you are maintaining your positive outlook, you are helping yourself to adapt to change with positivity. Because when you are out with positivity, you will meet positivity. Most often when you are like a negative person, that's what follows you. So you are trying to condition what follows you, because you can condition what follows you by deciding on staying positive and staying on the things that will make you grow. You are not going to stay there and be lamenting on yourself. You are not to be lamented on. You are to pick yourself up and say, I am more than this, and I have done it once, I can do it again. So resilience equips you to handle the inevitable bumps in life with such strength, and you can do this by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness, sometimes we think is some abstract thing. Mindfulness is when you just decide to be in the moment. Bring yourself to the present moment. Take yourself, okay, now what? And think about yourself. Put yourself in the now. You can write, I always talk about writing down. You write the pros and cons of what is happening to you or where you are, and say, so what next? And so when you are building this mindfulness, you are also practicing like positive self-talk. You are telling yourself, I cannot do this yet. Don't say I can't do it. I cannot do it yet, because if I practice, or if I ask for help, or if I go to find somebody who can do it, they can help me. So you put all of those and build a strong support network like we are doing here. And my second strategy is education. Education here is not, is both formal and informal education. It's not only you going to school or whatever. One of the things that I really like that helped me was, if I discovered that I really had to unlearn a lot of limiting beliefs. So the education here is, what limiting beliefs are you going to unlearn? What are those things that make you feel that you are not capable of doing, or you are not capable of achieving, or you are not capable of succeeding? So education here is for you to unlearn those limiting beliefs, and then you find some things that used to help you, and you relearn those helpful things. I like when I went to boarding school, you get up at 5 o'clock, and the whole timetable is there. So every morning, those are some good habits that sometimes you say, oh, I'm not a morning person. No, nobody is a morning person. If it is necessary, you have to learn how to be a morning person. So you have to learn or relearn your old good habits, and then now you learn the new skills or the new habits that are going to help you. So we live in a world where we are constantly supposed to be learning. There's no, like they say, every day is a new lesson. Because when you get up every day, you don't know what, if when you even go out and come back in the evening and try to look at how was my day, and you try to reminiscence on what happened during the day, you will discover that you've learned something new. If you just put your mind to it, open your mind to learn, you will learn new things every day. So education for me is on learning those limiting beliefs, relearning those habits that are helpful, and learning the new habits like Tim was talking about AI and ChatGPT. AI is not going to take anybody's job. We are going to work together. AI cannot work without you prompting it. So it's a partnership. But we are going to, if either you stay behind and you are completely cut off, or you follow AI and you are partnering with them. It's not nobody's taking anybody's place because everybody has their own unique value to bring. And so when you are talking about education, most of it is self-education. We have a lot of resources online and workshops or networks where you can learn a lot of things. I'm telling you, there's no way you can interact with somebody and go away without learning something. When you like program your mind, open it. Tim said like we should be open to learn. So don't just close your mind and say, "Oh, what can I learn from that person?" You never know. You never know what you can learn from somebody which can help you, which can really like be your key to your next breakthrough. So education, formal and informal. If you need to learn the skills or go to school, fine. But if you not, you can unlearn, relearn, and learn new things. So strategy. The first strategy for the for the S, sorry, is to take responsibility. I'm telling you, when you don't know how to take responsibility of your life, you are there in the victim mentality. You are saying, "Oh, this they are doing this to me because of one thing or the other." I know that sometimes we are really victimized, but that should not stop us. Because when you are taking responsibility, it means you want to develop yourself so well that even if they don't like this black color, they're going to give me that job because of I can do the job. So you are going to develop your skill so well that they can't do without you. So make yourself indispensable and you can do it. You can find those strategies, take responsibility and find out how can I single out myself with the gifts that I have. Write down your mission statement so that you have a visual image. Like they say, experts say, what gets written gets done. When you write it down, you will do it. So write that vision and really follow it. Find strategies, find ways of following what is in your heart or what strengths you have that you can leverage and become better and experience. Like they say, experience is the best teacher. Because why is experience the best teacher? Because experience is life. Life gives you the test, then you learn the lesson. But when you are going to school, they give you the lesson and then they give you the test. So have you ever wondered why in school you can read and pass the exams after like if you go to you are in 8th grade and they're asking you things that you did in 6th grade, most people don't remember because why? They just read for the exams and they went and wrote it and passed. But what is life? When you get life lessons, they leave you with the scars. There's no way you forget them so easily. And that's why they say experience is the best teacher. Because you get the exams before you learn the lesson. So it's different from school where you have the curriculum, you can really memorize them. I was really like good at memorizing, and on the last day of exam, so I had all the good grades. But ask me the things that I learned last year, I will not remember because why? I just memorized to write the exams. But life, it gives you that test, and then you learn the lesson. And so, what can I make from my experiences that can help other people? Because what happens is most of the time your experience is going to help somebody. We cannot live to experience every aspect of life but we can learn from other people's failures and avoid failure. So you are not going to learn everything on your own. You're going to look at all the people who have failed and look at their experiences. What can I learn from that? Because for me, when I realized that experience and challenges, they give you the, if you look at the lessons, it helps you to build back better. And so for me, I decided that everything that happens to me, I will never say I failed. I either won or I learned. So I don't lose. I win or I learn. And I use my lessons to build back better. So if you have that mindset about your experience, think about one thing that you really like. For instance, all the women who are navigating divorce and who think that they have no value because, that's why I have a YouTube channel to tell my story, to share it to all those women, to tell them, no, don't believe what people tell you. You are the one who determines your value. Even if society is stacking things on you, you have the responsibility to tell them that. You don't even have the responsibility to tell them. Just be you and be authentic, and they will see the value. And besides, sometimes you are really busy trying to impress people. They have so many challenges in their heads that they don't even remember you when they go back home. So you're really wasting your time for nothing. So find your experiences and leverage them to help some other people, because your survival guide or the lessons will help somebody to survive, and it will be an answer to somebody's prayer. So don't be ashamed or timid to share your story, no matter how small. Sometimes you think, I don't have any fantastic story because I'm not as famous as some famous people, but I can tell you it is those small everyday stories that help everyday people. So use your experience to find, what can I share in my life that can help another person. And of course, the training, sometimes when you want to reset your life, you might need to train in tech, in the new technologies, or you might need a training in something that is going to help you to get a new job. So we're like, I don't want to come back to, I don't know who did their SWOT analysis, who was here when we were doing the personal SWOT analysis. Absolutely. So when you are, and that SWOT analysis is a really, really, really interesting exercise, because it gives you that clear picture of the things that you know, the things that you need help with. Sometimes you identifying your weaknesses, not to lament and think that, oh my God, I'm a failure, I don't know how to do this. No, you can't be talented at everything, but you have your Michael Jordan level talent at one thing that makes you unique. So why not use that one thing, leverage it, and really make yourself like a goat in your own field? So when you are finish your SWOT analysis, you will decide which particular training you want to do. You don't want to attend all the courses and waste your time going from one school to another when you just need one thing. And so that is my reset. That is my reset process. And sometimes when you are reinventing or resetting your life, you might just need resilience. You might just need education. You might need strategy. So you can use just one of the processes. You can combine them, or can use all of them. But whatever works for you, you can use them as you please. And now we're talking here about transferable skills. Those are the skills and abilities that you can apply across different jobs. So it's not only like, because if you see, like, communication is not only for a journalist like me. Everyone needs to communicate, or everyone has a communication obligation to be able to work in every workplace. So you are looking for your transferable skills. the skills that you can use to work across the board. I'm not a good a communicator because I'm an engineer or because I'm a journalist, because I just have developed my communication skills. And remember, all of these are skills, so you can learn them. You can learn them. So one of the, like, I would just share the communication skills. You have the problem solving skills, those are transferable skills. You have the adaptability and flexibility. You don't need to be an engineer to be able to know how to adapt or to be flexible. You don't need to be an engineer to be a team player, a team, or be able to work in a team or collaborate. You don't need to be a journalist to manage time very well. So find your transferable skills, and that will help you to really transition your job search. Because when you have your certificate in engineering, it is specific. But also, now the job market is not only for specifics. Sometimes when you have, they call it a corporate background. If you have a corporate background, you have a better opportunity to have a job, because you are going to, let me not say you, I am, I'm going to look for a job. I'm a journalist. I can write and produce content. I speak English, French, and Spanish, so I can also do translation. And then I have worked a lot in environment and sustainable development. So, and then I do training, and I also do information management. So if you're recruiting me, you're recruiting one, like 5 people in me alone. So that's why those transferable skills are so necessary. Make sure that you want to tell a story of yourself that you would really like love, because you are your best friend and you are telling yourself that love story, and you are making, like, you are really like painting you the way you really want to be. The pen is in your hands. You can edit anything that you don't want it to be inside and do what you want. It's true that we are in society and that we have all the societal constraints, but also you can navigate those constraints when you are conscious of what you bring to the table. And there's no way you can be conscious of what you bring to the table if you don't even know you. And that's why self development is so important. Self mastery. And that's why mindset is like the capital. That's your foundation. Keep your mindset open and develop yourself. Investing in yourself, I can assure you, that's the best investment you can ever make. Investing in yourself, because what happens, we spend time solving every other person's problem, and we keep ourselves last, especially like the women. When you are a mother, you are last in the tape, in the scale. When you are finished solving every other person's problem, you don't even have time for your own problem. So investing in yourself is the best investment you can ever make, and it doesn't fail you, because you know how to value yourself, and you know why you are putting the investment, and you cannot disappoint yourself. In fact, like they say, the first commitment, the first person you have to be committed to is you. Keep your commitments to yourself, because what happens is, most often we always think of solving other people's problems first, and then when we think about ourselves, we don't even still have the energy. Meanwhile, we should think about ourselves first. Sometimes people will say you're selfish. It's not being selfish. You are really taking your responsibility. You are taking charge of your life, and you are being assertive, because only you can save you. And so when you are talking about trans transitioning in jobs, or in whatever transitions, you have to first reassess the situation, explore your opportunities, set your smart goals, take action. It doesn't suffice only to be learning and going for networking. What tangible actions do I need to take? What, like, steps do I really need to take? so that tomorrow I will be a better person than I was today. And so when we are thinking about all the successful people, I can tell you they went through job transitions. Look at Oprah Winfrey. That's one of my, like a journalist, she is like a role model. She has her own TV station, but she went through a lot of things. She had to really be resilient, really learn, really pivot, and really put herself out there and say, I'm going to be the best at this. And she learned the skills, she honed the skills, and over the years, she has become a household name. I'll also give you another example of this guy in Africa. He's called Mo Ibrahim. I don't know if you have heard about him. He has an NGO. He is into developing talents. But this guy is a British Sudanese billionaire who went through like a lot of resilience to be able to manage and make out a telephone company that was like locally owned solely, and that really like, because like whether we like it or not, we have a lot of population in Africa, and everybody is connected with the cell phone. So instead of leaving those colonial guys to come and continue reaping, why not find a son of the soil who can build a telephone company? And so he did, and he went through all the stress because all the bureaucracies and the political roadblocks, because the colonial master is imposing, but he stood his ground and he really went through a lot. But he finally succeeded to be one of the largest telephone networks in Africa. So sometimes you think that those famous people, they had it all easy. Nobody had it all easy. Everybody, like we say, we all have scars. Some scars are big, some scars are small. But how are you going to leave your own scar? Are you going to let that scar remain there and look at it every day and say, oh, I'm good for nothing? Or look at this scar and all of that? Or you're going to say, because of this scar, I'm going to make sure that no other person has this scar like mine. So if we are going home today, we are going home, if for nothing else, we are going home with take responsibility for your life and learn to adapt, because life is all about adjusting. And even if you have all the resources, sometimes you just need to tweak a bit, you just need to adapt and reset. I was giving the example of your cell phone. Each time you don't charge your cell phone once a year, you charge it every day that the battery runs down. You have to reboot it, you have to recharge it, and that's how you have to treat your life. You have to always recharge it to make it function optimally. And so we say most often our challenges are opportunities for professional growth and self-discovery. I always like this image to remind us that, look at the caterpillar, all the stages that he went through when he was in the cocoon and thought that everything was finished. What happened? It became a butterfly. And boom, it became unstoppable. So we are unstoppable.